Let's now turn to laws providing oversight and not providing oversight on factory farms. In the United States, the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service is the main authority that monitors federal compliance with animal welfare standards. In 2019, the USDA passed a ruling to reduce the number of inspectors in slaughterhouses by 40%. The new rule removed 40% of government food safety inspectors from the pig slaughter plants, turning their tasks over to plant operators with no required training, and allowed plants to aggressively increase their already fast line speeds to process more hogs per hour and increase profits. Workers in the meatpacking industry already face high workplace injury rates, more than double the average for all other private industries, and they face serious workplace injury rates that are 15% higher than the average for all other industries. They became self-monitoring. This new rule allows slaughterhouses the authority to monitor its own compliance with animal welfare and health standards. Animal Outlook and other advocacy groups sued the USDA for adopting regulations that dramatically reduce government oversight of pig slaughterhouses while increasing the role of slaughterhouse employees. American Humane and Certified Humane are two organizations that aim to improve the welfare of farmed animals, but they have different standards and approaches. Details of these organizations are discussed coming up. In the United States, there are only two federal laws protecting farm animals, but only during transport and slaughter. No federal law explicitly regulates the on-farm treatment of animals other than the small percentage raised organically. The 28-hour law was originally passed in 1873 and amended in 1994. This law sets a bare minimum mandate that animals transported across state lines for slaughter cannot be confined in cars, boats, or aircraft for more than 28 consecutive hours without being unloaded for at least 5 hours for rest, water, and food. Enforcement of this law can be challenging, and there are unfortunate exceptions. For instance, the time can be extended to 36 hours by the owner or shipper's written request. Let's review the second federal law, the Humane Slaughter Act. Chickens and turkeys are not covered by the United States Humane Slaughter Act. The Humane Methods of Slaughter Act is one of the few animal protection laws in the U.S. It states that livestock animals in the U.S. must be unconscious or unable to feel pain when being slaughtered. It includes pigs, cows, horses, and sheep, but no mention of chicken or other poultry animals. The U.S. slaughters 9 billion chickens annually, and not one of these animals is guaranteed a pain-free death. This second law, the Humane Slaughter Act, was originally passed in 1958, which requires slaughterers to stun some animals before they are slaughtered. The act declares that its aim is to prevent needless suffering by inducing the loss of consciousness in animals before being killed. This law protects some animals from suffering, but chickens are not recognized under this law. Yet they are the most abused animal on factory farms, making up more than 90% of the animals slaughtered for food. Remember, 99% of animals killed for food are from factory farms, and 90% of the 99% are chickens. The Humane Methods of Slaughter Act only applies to livestock, excluding chickens, and fish, rabbits, or other animals slaughtered for food. The USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service enforces the Humane Slaughter Act. Rationale for excluding poultry is to avoid hindering religious practices under the First Amendment, which is related to ritual slaughter. The Humane Methods of Slaughter Act defines humane slaughtering as rendering animals unconscious with a single blow or gunshot, using electrical, chemical, or other rapid-fire means, slaughtering in accordance with religious requirements. The Humane Slaughter Act doesn't address how animals are raised on the farm and lacks a general enforcement mechanism. Sadly, it's not only factory farming processes that harm the animals. Animal welfare organizations such as Mercy for Animals and Animal Outlook have arranged hidden cameras placed on hired employees that expose abuse by workers. There's information online about investigations, especially with Mercy for Animals. Farmed animals raised throughout the meat, dairy, and egg industries are tragically exploited. Investigations and industry whistleblowers have revealed horrific abuses on factory farms, and with slaughterhouses' commonplace industry practices such as physical mutilations without anesthesia and the use of body-gripping cages and crates that, while imposing pain and suffering, are legally allowed. In summary, factory farmed animals are tragically exploited. There are horrific abuses that occur on factory farms and in slaughterhouses, and the commonplace industry practices of mutilations without anesthesia are legally allowed. Here is some information for you on ways to tailor your diet. Are you familiar with the variations of diets which eliminate all or some animal products? This list helps to clarify the differences. Take a look and see if one of them appeals to you, and perhaps you can start a paradigm shift. But remember, slowly is okay too, and small choices make a big difference. I've prepared a listing of recommended reading that addresses factory farming in various ways, along with a short description of the book's focus. Here's a listing of movies that focus on animal agriculture and are all very well done and worth watching. This list of recipe websites will provide endless choices in all categories. Please check them out. These plant-based products are my favorites, and I recommend them. However, if you try a brand and you don't like it, try another because they are all very different.